I got invited to a Tai Lopez Mastermind in the Beverly Hills. I'm here with my beautiful wife, Jennifer Moncada. We're gonna take you behind the scenes and share everything we learn throughout the next few hours with you so you can learn with us too. Enjoy.
You could sell a man a tampon. You're a good copywriter. Copywriting in general is who can piece together the most powerful triggers one after another. And if I hate watching myself on video. I literally did not rewatch Here in My Garage till last year. And I was like, this is a fucking good copywriting. So some of my copywriting is good, but if you can piece together one trigger after another, that's why I call it 39 triggers. If you could, Here in My Garage has almost all 39 triggers in it. So like the power 4 triggers are reward and then future pacing out the reward. So not just saying like you're gonna make money, but like pacing out what you can do in the future with that money. Then it has authority and urgency's like the third most powerful. If you ever get 39 triggers in a thing, you're gonna make like a $50 to $100 million funnel.
Here in Tai Lopez's garage, next to his famous Lamborghini. Back at the hotel, without further ado, let's dive right into all my top takeaways from the Tai Lopez Hollywood Hills Mastermind. Let's go. One of the first things I wrote down was throw 4 house parties a year, you'll double your net worth. This is a quote by Tai Lopez himself. Tai mentioned how he met his first billionaire mentor at one of his parties that he threw. And you'll see a trend as I go into another point later on that Tai is very bullish on social events, right? Events, meetups, fun parties, like not just business, right? Like just actually having fun. There's only 2 business models left. AI and personal brands is what Tai Lopez said. Everything else is bullshit and will be replaced, right? There's only 2 business models left, AI and personal brands. Everything else is bullshit and will be replaced. And if you think about it, as I was coming home, as I was coming back to the hotel, Jennifer and I, we went down the street to get tacos. Now, in California at least, you see these robot delivery driver things, right? Like they're just driving around automatically using AI, delivering packaged goods or water or whatever people are ordering right to the people that are ordering it. And so if you think about that, right, what's going to be happening in the future? More of that, right? Less high skilled labor in terms of like, you know, a lot not less high skilled labor, a less like low skilled labor, because robots are going to replace a lot of that. AI is going to replace a lot of that. And so you have to actually leverage AI, use AI, work with AI, integrate with AI to be able to scale your business and make sure your business doesn't become obsolete, because you're leveraging AI to make it more efficient, more profitable, faster, and work better. And you're also should be leveraging your personal brand, just like I am right now, creating this content, sharing this with you, because my goal is to get you to trust me, because the more you trust me, the easier it'll be to have you buy from me, as opposed to anybody else, because I'm giving you tons of free value, tons of free content, showing you what I'm learning along my journey so that you can learn too. And eventually, you'll obviously want to work with me. That's simple. And so if you're not creating content because you're introverted, the world does not reward overly introverted people. Start leveraging AI and start growing your personal brand. Sell something that's worthwhile, because most people won't be able to buy anything as AI replaces everyone's jobs. This was actually a thing that I wrote down, obviously, because right now the trend is high ticket, right? High ticket sales, $5,000 to $10,000 plus offers. And that still will work in the future, obviously. But most people, because AI will replace their jobs and they won't have much discretionary income, you know, hypothetically speaking here, you should then use that as your sign now to work towards building an ascension ladder so that you can sell products and services that are cheaper for the average person to buy. And the average person meaning not you and I, not someone who's an entrepreneur, a business owner, a solopreneur, someone who's actually growing their income and investing their income back in, you know, their business, their personal development, etc. Someone who's just the average person consuming, right? Those people won't be able to buy from you if you're only selling the high ticket stuff, right? So now you should start working towards building a product or having an ascension ladder in your business to be able to sell something that's worthwhile to the average person, the majority of people that can actually consume it and buy it, right, and use it. And so take that for what you will. Whatever business you have, just start thinking about that. Because as AI replaces more jobs, what I wrote down, what I took away from this was, how can we create better products and services that can appeal to much more people, the average person, and allow them to use them with less discretionary income, because most people won't have much income, especially as AI takes over their jobs and replaces them. Something to think about. Can't make this stuff up, but as Jennifer and I were heading back to Arizona, I got a text from Sam. Shout out to Sam Sauter. He hit me up and he said, yo, dude, Tai Lopez wants to do a podcast with you at 5 p.m. today. Can you make it? And literally, we were literally in the car about to drive back to Arizona, 6-hour drive, and get back to the team early tomorrow. And we literally were in the car having a conversation. We're like, should we do it? We're literally driving out of California. And it was just like, yes.
It's not just a Zoom mastermind, it's like, come in my living room, let's talk. That's another trigger, like, I'm getting Zoom, that's convenience, because convenience is the trigger. So it's like, that's convenient to do Zoom.
A lot of people that probably aren't interested in what you have to offer can.
Yeah, we've tried that on paid ads. It doesn't always work perfectly to put something crazy viral.
No.
1 out of a million humans is a creative Einstein. And you need those creative Einsteins to be able to think through problems. So that's just a classic example where using marketing and psychology, you could save businesses that are going out of business. Movie theaters are going to disappear.
Stop using Google, okay? Google makes you think of the question. Tai pulled out his phone in the middle of the mastermind and just asked ChatGPT a question. And he used voice detection and the voice note to talk to ChatGPT to make it more fast and way more powerful with way less effort. So it was way more efficient. And so I immediately just downloaded ChatGPT and started using the voice recognition stuff. So now I'm not going to go to Google anymore or Safari and start typing in, questions. I'm just going to ask ChatGPT. Huge, efficient tip right there for you as well, right? If you can make these micro optimizations, I've realized Tai makes these micro optimizations that are they just make sense, right? Like, why would you get, because when you use Google, I have to go to Google right now and type in the question, and phrase it right so I get the right response. But I can just also voice note ChatGPT like Tai did in the middle of the mastermind and just have it formulate my question. So that was pretty cool. Seems obvious, but obvious not to do as well. Tai's biggest mistake, this is a powerful one. Tai's biggest mistake, back when he was blowing up heavy, right? Here in my garage, 67 steps, right? Affiliate after affiliate after affiliate deal, SamOvensConsulting.com partnership, all that stuff, right? Lamborghini mansions, hot chicks, playing basketball, doing a bunch of content, right? He said his biggest mistake was not using his platform to build up other people's personal brands and monetizing those alongside his. So for example, if you look at the biggest personal brands in our space right now, guys like Ben Shapiro, Patrick Bet-David, what are they doing differently than what Tai did? What they're doing is Patrick Bet-David with his company Valuetainment, his media company, he has other people a part of his media company creating content for his media company. He's got Vinny, who's a stand-up comedian and also has a podcast on his Valuetainment channel. That's his own channel, right? Then he's got Adam, who's got his own podcast about dating, relationships, and investments and stuff. And he's got his own YouTube channel, but it's affiliated under the Valuetainment company, media company, right? Ben Shapiro, same thing. He had Candace Owens under the Daily Wire. And he's got Jordan Peterson as well, right? He's leveraging other people's personal brands, helping them grow their brand to grow his brand. And that was one of Tai Lopez's biggest mistakes, according to him, was not using his platform to build up other people's personal brands under his and monetizing those. That way it wasn't just focused only on him. And you want to look at guys like Patrick Bet-David because they're doing that the right way today. You should put women in your company. Why? Because they don't compete on the same things as men. Men take risks, bigger risks, I should say, a lot bigger risks, and women can stabilize the company, right? They bring a little bit of a softer side, more organized side, less risky side, but a more stable side. And so take that for what you will. That's what Tai said, and I personally agree with it because my wife helps me out a lot with my business. She's very organized, she's very detailed, she's very scheduled, she's very diligent, she's very disciplined, and she brings that softer feminine energy to me, and it's easier for her to get things done. Or for example, if a client's late on a bill for whatever reason, which don't ever be late on bills, she'll be the one to reach out to them, and it's a lot easier for her to collect that cash because they're going to be easier to work with when they get a message from her, because it's a woman, right, not a man, right? It's a little bit of a conflict there. Like the ego gets brought up when it's like me asking them for their money, which they already owe me, or someone on my team who's a guy asking them for the money. It's a little bit of like a, yeah, like I'm gonna pay, like chill out, right? But if it's a woman, like my wife, reaching out to them about, hey, so and so, just want to let you know we're missing the payment. Can you get it back to us? Like, it's a little bit softer, a little bit easier to get that. Plus the organizational stuff, she helps me out a lot with that stuff. So take that for what you will. And he said it himself. He's like, it's not because of diversity or like, inclusion or anything. It's just because they're good to have in the company. SEO hack, okay? Huge SEO hack. If you do not do this right now, if you take one thing from this video, it's this thing right here, which is exactly what I did as well. Create a subreddit for your personal brand and start posting good content to protect your personal brand. Google SEO, okay, SEO in general, Google is favoring Reddit right now. And people can start subreddits of your name or your company name and start bad-mouthing you, creating rumors about you or trashing you if you let them. But if you're someone who is still on the rise and you haven't had that yet because you do good business and obviously, you want to protect that brand, you should create your own subreddit on reddit.com and start posting valuable content so that way when people search for you online after they see your ads and they want to see if you're legit, they can go to your subreddit because your subreddit will rank to the top place of Google if someone Googles you. So it's in your best interest right now as an SEO hack, and this was taught by one of the best SEO agency owners in the Mastermind that Tai actually shouted out multiple times. I forget his name, I apologize. To create a subreddit for your personal brand right now and start posting good content to protect your personal brand. So what does that look like? It looks like this. Get your subreddit name. So for example, reddit.com/adspend, reddit.com/Brian Moncada, and start protecting those things by actually uploading valuable content. So that way you can control the narrative. Okay. So if you don't have that, right, start doing that. That was a huge tip for me. Immediately implemented it. All right. Do the same for you. And then there was another guy recommending how to grow your personal brand faster. It's kind of like the Andrew Tate method. Create sub accounts for your personal brand. Basically, just like second accounts or fourth accounts, fifth accounts, etc. And post. He said that they used to do 4 posts per day across these accounts, but now they do 2 posts per day, and they found that that's better to maximize reach and growth. So basically, an example would be like, instead of 1 Instagram, 5 Instagrams. Instead of 1 Twitter account, 5 Twitter accounts. Instead of 1 TikTok account, 5 TikTok accounts. Again, the Andrew Tate method, just a bunch of accounts and having a bunch of accounts posting content of you to grow your brand a lot faster. To get what you want, you have to deserve what you want. The world isn't crazy enough to start rewarding undeserving people. What does that mean? Well, it means, obviously, if you want something, good in your life, right? High value in your life, you have to deserve that thing. You have to deserve what you want. You can't just get it. You may want it. You got to deserve it. You got to do the work for it. You got to actually work for it, right? The world at this current point in time isn't crazy enough to start rewarding undeserving people. Just like with AI and personal brands, the people that watch this video and don't implement those things, don't start looking into AI, researching AI, and using AI in their businesses, in their company, in their processes, in their systems, in their products, and their services, will be left behind by the people like Tai that are using AI to help people create more ads, just like we are as well, right? And if you don't leverage your personal brand or build a personal brand or start having any content online, then you will be left behind. And right now, the world isn't crazy enough to start rewarding undeserving people. The people that will deserve what they want, or the people that will get what they want, are the people that deserve what they want and actually work on it to get it by working with the system in its current shape and form to make it happen. It's going to be the early adopter of a tool at the right time that will smoke everybody. Tai Lopez here in my garage YouTube ad example. So for example, Tai was one of the first people to actually capitalize on YouTube ads, because before no one was running YouTube ads. And it was so cheap back then, he took over the ad space and became famous because he was able to spend thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars a day and basically had a money machine. And he used that as an example of today. What are the tools that you could be using right now and become an early adopter of today that you can use and leverage and be first to smoke everybody else, right? That was him with YouTube ads. He blew up and smoked everybody else because no one was running YouTube ads. He was the one running YouTube ads. And he was able to print a literal money magic machine, money making machine with those YouTube ads. He was sharing some numbers with us, which I won't share here, but like crazy numbers. And so what tools can you use today with AI or with other things that you can use and be an early adopter of to smoke everybody else in your competition? Think about that. It's usually the first person that acts on it that does it. Best lifestyle, chase the sun. Take that for what you will. It's basically just his advice of like how he likes to travel a lot and he chases the sun. So he'll be in Brazil and Sao Paulo. He'll be in the Netherlands. He'll be in Beverly Hills, and he'll go as the weather goes and changes to be closer to the sun, right? In the sun, because obviously you're more happy in the sun. You guys know this. I went through a little bit of health experience as well, where I went back to Miami to recover because I was in the sun, at the beach, in the sand, swimming, back by the sun, like going back to nature, grounding, right? Actual nature to recharge, reflect, and recover. So I completely agree with this. You want to live somewhere that has a lot of sun. It's probably one of the best advices you can ever do, especially if you're feeling like your environment's not serving you. Oh, I also had a good conversation with Sabri Subi. It was funny because on my channel, I did a YouTube ad review from Sabri Subi. I broke it down step by step. You can watch it. I'll put the link somewhere here that you can click on it and watch it after this. And he was at the Mastermind, and I said, "What's up?" to him, and he was like, "Bro, you reviewed my my ad." And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Dude, I really like that video." And I was like, "Yeah, dude, I really respect you, what you do." And most agencies can't scale past 1 to 3 million. It's pretty hard to scale past that point for most agencies, right? This is where most people quit. But what's interesting is he said the valley of death for agencies is actually 3 to 10 million. This is the hardest part. That's the worst time in agency growth, is 3 to 10 million. This is pretty interesting for me because he was like, his advice was, you either have to stay at the 1 to 3 million and be okay with having less clients, more upside, more boutique, less scale, right? And that's fine, and keep it small, and then use that experience to launch other businesses, right? With that agency experience. Or you have to do whatever the fuck you have to do to scale past 3 to 10 million at all costs to get over that hump, because that's where most agencies can never get out of the valley of death. And I was like, wow, I've never heard someone say that before, especially someone as an agency owner as successful as him. Agencies are the hardest business to scale, by far. Agencies are brute force, like just hard to scale. Hardest businesses to scale, most complex business to scale, highest overhead, less profit, highest skilled labor. And every other business every other business you start after the agency is way easier to scale because of the lessons and the skills you learn growing and running the agency. And you guys know this, right? Tai Lopez taught SMMA, and now everyone has an SMMA. Consulting.com, Sam Ovens had an agency, switched to education. Why? Less complex, more scalable. A lot of the biggest gurus in the space, right? Although I hate using that word, experts, authors, coaches, speakers, used to have an agency. Why? Because it's easy to start a service-based business. You're not selling anything besides a service, right? And your time. And then it's harder to scale because it's obviously more labor intensive, more time intensive. The profit margin goes down. You need high skilled labor. And you obviously need the right clients. And it's done for you. You got to deal with people, right? A lot of people don't like dealing with people, people's problems, people's challenges, people's concerns. So it's one of the hardest businesses to scale. I can speak for this as well, because I have an agency still and an education company, and we use the agency to scale the education company, right? And leverage those case studies to sell more of the education and help more people. But the education's way more scalable and way easier to scale because of the lessons and the case studies and the brand we've built from the agency, right? And so agency's way easy to start, super easy to start, hard to scale. Education, a lot easier to scale, and a lot more market share there as well, right? A lot more profit there as well. But it's easier to scale the education, like most people you see and look up to have done, because they first started with an agency. You learn a lot of skills with the agency. It's very valuable. I always still recommend starting with the agency. And that's it. Just wrapped up the podcast with Ty in his Hollywood Hills mansion. That's what happens when you take the risk. When you get invited and someone says, hey, we got this thing going on. Can you do it? Even though it's last minute, you got to say yes to it, because it's always going to lead to something bigger, more exposure, and ultimately just being able to have a good conversation with someone like Tai Lopez, man. Whether you love him, you don't like him, doesn't matter. You got to respect him for what he's done. Just being able to spend about almost 2 hours sitting down with him one-on-one and talking back and forth about everything. We talked about so many different things. I can't wait for you guys to see the podcast. When it comes out, you know I'll send it to you and I'll be posting about it. But until then, keep smiling, keep learning, keep growing. I'm going to sign off now. We got a long drive back to Arizona. Going to be burning the midnight oil, but we got to get back to the team and keep on working. Let's grow. I'll see you guys in the next one.